Welcome to the Your Limitless Leadership podcast with Jenny and Brent Widman. Here, we believe leadership isn't just about titles. It's about how you show up in every aspect of life. Whether you're leading a business, building a legacy as an entrepreneur, guiding your family, or striving to lead yourself first, this podcast is for you. Join us as we dive into real conversations about growth, decision-making, and the courage it takes to lead with purpose. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and equipped to become the limitless leader you are meant to be. This is your Limitless Leadership podcast. Let's lead without limits. Welcome to your Limitless Leadership podcast. I have a special guest, and I would say a friend at this point, just somebody who I really respect just the person he is and how he does things, not just as a business owner, but as a dad and the way he conducts his life. And I'll just say lucky for me, I had the opportunity to meet him a few months back and just to get to know his story, who he is. It's Travis Jansen. And I'm not going to tell his whole story, but one of the things that's pretty cool is Jansen Shutters opened their doors with 3 people in 2002. And since then, he has, along with, I believe your dad had it in the past,
yep,
up to 65 employees. And I'll let him tell the story about that and the trials and tribulations that come with it, kind of what we were just talking about. But also, one of the things I truly respect about you, man, is whenever you talk about your kids, the way you can tell your heart just gets bigger. And it's pretty cool to hear that. So he has 3 kids, Jocelyn, who just actually moved up to Minnesota. So we got to meet her going to Hamlin. Correct? It's Hamlin?
Yep.
Okay.
You
For some reason, I was thinking the other law school up here, but Hamlin. And then Tucker, who's 15, and Viola, I love that name, as well, who's 11. And thank you, Trav, for being on here, because you're just a damn good person. And I think so many people are going to benefit from hearing your story and what you've created. But I would love to hear, maybe start there, just how you got to where you are. So kind of the background of how all of this started, where you were, and you can go into as much detail as you want or not, right? That kind of thing, but how you got to where you are.
Yeah, cool. I feel blessed too, brother. I definitely feel blessed to have met you and Jenny in Nashville. And man, we just hit it off right away, especially with Jenny being from the town right next door in Inglewood. So definitely a blessing. It was a God thing to just kind of connect like that, man. But yeah, we my father and I back in 2002, there were some codes changing, and so we're from Sarasota, Florida, Venice, Florida, west coast of Florida area. We started a company called Jansen Construction Services. Back in 2002, there were some codes that were going to be changing. So we did anything to make money when we started out, right? I mean, whatever you have to do legally, we were doing it, whether it was construction products and things. And then the codes were changing in our area. When you design a house for pressures, the windows, the roofs would stay on in high winds, but the windows would blow out. So they pulled an open envelope. And then in 2002, 2004-ish, the codes, right, the roof's going to stay on. And then they made a fully enclosed or a partially enclosed building code. So we kind of got into the hurricane shutter industry, planning for the codes to change. And definitely when we first started, we messed up a lot. I mean, I think everyone does. That's just the reality. But the grit and the grind of not giving up and walking through those lessons are so fun, you know. I mean, even now today, if someone messes up, because you and I mess up, Brent, right? I mean, it's going to happen. Our kids mess up. As long as we learn a lesson from the error or the mistake, it was worth the mess up. I mean, it was worth learning that lesson to level up to the next season of our life, right? So yeah, we started out as a three-man company. My dad, my mom, and myself. back in 2002, right out of our garage. I was not college bound like yourself and other great business leaders out there in the world. Learned it from hard knocks, trial and error, which kind of just teaches you to do things the right way. But we started out kind of servicing shutters, and then we grew 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, and of course the revenue. With the revenue, we needed to, with our revenue growing, we needed to allocate funds for growth. So we had to put aside funds for the growth of the company, like buying vehicles, expanding. There's nothing like running on empty when you're trying to expand. And that's it's for probably like yourself, a lot of other business owners, it's okay. It feels comfortable to run red, to invest in ourselves, but you got to have a plan doing that. So now, 22 decades later, we keep hitting those dollar marks, but we keep hitting the growth of the company, which is awesome. We've been growing 12% last few years, year after year, which is phenomenal. Even from 2025 to 2026, we'll grow 12%. Even though things are a little slow, but we've got a strategy. We know what the revenue is, and I know how many employees I need to hit those numbers. I know the sales calls that my guys have to hit to get that percentage of sales. So it's an interesting thing, and I'd love to break down the numbers with you the best we can, because no one really teaches you these inside secrets in business, or it's hard to find a circle. I mean, you and I, right? I tell you, I feel like I'm on an island all the time, but somehow we're getting through all these obstacles and continuing to learn. I don't know how many times I've told you my answers come while I'm working out, right? In the morning, I'm working out and got an obstacle, and I get my neurons connecting in my head, or that dopamine hit right away. And it's like, okay, we can get through this.
I love that you talk about numbers, man, because it's what you just said. And so many of us don't understand or know our numbers. We just do. Because I'm guessing like you, and we're salespeople that now are running a business, if you will.
Yeah.
And our fun thing isn't to look at spreadsheets and run numbers and all. Why do you think, and I want to put you on the spot here, but why do you think numbers and knowing your numbers are so important? And then how has that helped you knowing that time and time and time again? Like, what has that done for you?
Well, if you don't know your numbers, it's kind of like, I love this. This goes back to some of our one-on-ones, right? So it's almost like my personal finances. Whatever someone makes, if I don't tell my money where to go, it's just going to be freely spent at the end of the month. It's like, okay, great. Or I tell my money where to go. I'm going to pay that bill. I'm going to do that bill, and I'm going to do that. And then obviously I've got some savings at the end of the month. So in business, we run an expense report. So we run an expense report monthly. Obviously that's my fixed overhead, and I'm always trying to beat it down. We were just talking about that before the podcast, right? You got all these numbers that are just cost to do business. So first I've got to know my fixed overhead. I'd call it an expense report or fixed overhead, and it adjusts monthly. I mean, realistically, if you're not watching your numbers, this pops up, that pops up, and learning not to spend just freely. What do they say? You can be resilient, and I forgot what I was going to say there. Yeah, you just got to tell your numbers where to go, buddy.
I love if I don't tell my money where to go. Like I've never heard that before. And it's what you just said. If you don't tell your money where to go, how do you know at the end of the month or even at the end of the week? Like there's a reason why people flounder. I think it's what most small businesses last 5 years at best. And I have to think that is how did you learn this? Like, was it just, it happened? Was it dad? Was it just a process of things? But how did you?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was amazing. He taught me everything he could.
Mm.
Definitely, if I'm half the man he is, I'll be an amazing guy. But he taught me so much, and then kind of, I was blessed to when I started to take the company over. My dad retired, give or take, about 4 or 5 years ago, but I was running the company well before that. I'd ask questions on the bottom line. In sales, you have salespeople, so you pay them a salary, you pay the commission. Where's the profit come from? What's our cost to do business compared to our overhead? I'm sorry, cost to do business, and then where's our margins at? And are the margins correct? And I love to learn. I know some people don't like doing spreadsheets, but I'm that guy at 11 o'clock at night doing like 4 different sheets that equal the same, on a master sheet, so I can go to one page and see the health of the company. So I keep learning, read a lot of books, and I ask a lot of questions, right? I guess if you're not asking questions, you're not learning.
Mm-mm. You just hit something too there, man. It's like when we're constantly learning and looking, you're seeking to get better is really what you're doing. And you could really, I don't know, us as business owners, we're never going to make it. Like you've never made it. It's a consistent or a constant thing. And to hear you say that, I just wish you could you know what I mean? Like transfer that to somebody else that might be struggling. And when you go looking for it, you'll find it. You really will. Where does your drive come from? And I know that's a big question because it's hard to pinpoint. Well, this is just who I am. But through our conversations, just the mentality you have, whether it's the business, whether it's your family, whether it's your kids, whether it's books, whether it's and everything, you just have this constant. Is there a reason for that? Where did that come from?
That's an interesting question. I've had nothing in life, man. I literally have. I've had nothing in life. I've been locked up many times before we started this company. I got out and started making a better life, man. So I'm an amputee, right? And the funny thing is, I started a daily routine. So the routines are what make us and break it in life. And when I was a beginner at being an amputee, no one made a book, amputee for dummies, man. Everything's different. Just like your perspective on life is different than what my reality is. Because, you're just a better looking guy. I don't have the looks like you, man. So the hardest struggle for me was just getting out of bed.
Oh,
Because like losing a limb is kind of like losing a wife or a best friend. And I made a routine. The hardest thing for me to do is just get out of bed for a while, and I'd crawl, man. I got one leg, I'd crawl to the shower, and I'd take a shower, and I'd get back in bed and lay down. But then the next day I'd get up and do it again, and then I'd maybe go eat breakfast, and then the next day I'd do it again. And I just kept going, man. And I kept going and I kept going, and I never gave up. And then I learned asking people questions. I learned working out. Working out is a healthy spot for me. I truly believe that I got so much better physically, mentally, in shape for my loved ones around me, that it's a healthy addiction for me that I can, one, working out gets me in the shape where my 2 daughters, their boyfriends are afraid of me because I look so good.
love it. Yeah.
It's that or you get guns. I mean, I got guns on my arms, or I can have real guns. It depends. But you have the grit, man, and how to come consistency, brother. Having nothing and no, I'm never going back there.
You said at the beginning that you did not go to college, and what you just gave,
Yeah.
is literally a master's class on how to develop and how to keep going. Because you talk about losing a limb, losing a leg, and you just crawled to the shower. You didn't try to conquer the world. You didn't try to say, I'm going to do all this stuff. It was just a process day after day after day. And that is, for those of you listening to this, I don't care if you are where you want to be or if you're not where you want to be. What Travis just told you is to continue to move forward and really good, because you wouldn't be where you are today if you wouldn't have done it. Call it what it is, right?
No, it's just like life, buddy. Times get tough, you can give up or keep showing up, and that's a lot of business, is just show up and being honest. You and I run into some huge problems, some huge things every day. No problem. There's an obstacle, and if we learn a lesson, man, let's move on and keep going, right, Brent?
It's just part of the deal. It really is. I love that you say it's huge, because it's like, in the big scheme of things, we're not really that important,
Not at all. No, not at all.
We're just trying to do the best we can, right? And keep running it forward. Man, I love your mentality. Let me ask about because I know you read a lot of books and I know you spend a lot of time on self-development and what have you. What are some of the things, and again, I don't want to put you on the spot because I know it's hard to think of this stuff just like that, but when you look at some of the best things you've learned over time, when you say you failed and what have you, are there 2 or 3 things that you would say, because you talked about consistency, but is there anything you would say in business that you need to put into play or you need to develop or you need to do, whether it's mindset, consistency, skills, whatever it is, to continue to move forward? 2 or 3 pieces of advice, if you will, I guess, put it that way, that you've learned.
Man, learn to love learning.
Ooh.
Learn to be uncomfortable in the uncomfortable. Did you go to college, Brent?
Yeah.
I look up to you, man. That is cool. So I wish I went to college, but that wasn't for me. So, I just, like I think you and I said, man, I never read my first book till I think I was 24. Because I didn't realize I couldn't comprehend the words. So I found another way to overcome that obstacle. And now I feel like every time you and I talk, I'm talking about a different book because I'm absorbing those as quick as I can, but not just absorbing them, putting them into place, man, right? Like we were talking about that book, Profit First. Did you end up reading that one yet?
I'm in the midst of it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
What a great author, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say learn to love learning, man, because
love it.
That's key to everything in life, right? You got your wives, or not wives, wife.
That'd be awesome. My wives.
You've got to learn their different ways, and it's always a growing process, right? We're getting older, we're changing, we're changing in the relationship, so it's give and take. And you've got kids, I've got kids. I think the only rule that changes with our kids is the rule changes every day.
Yeah. Well, think about what you're saying too. It's when you talk about learning, it's not just business. It's every facet of life. It's career, it's spiritual, it's kids, it's relationship, it's business, it's all these different things. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. Really is what it comes down to. And
I know you're a runner, which I love it. I wish I could run, man. I'm so envious of that. You get up and run every day, but getting up and getting your mind going with that routine, right? You've got a routine. You do it every day. Do you do it on Sundays too?
Little tidbit for you. I heard this fuel thing. At the end of 2023, I heard a guy named Aaron Van Trojan, who owns a mortgage company, on Facebook, said I worked out every day this year. And I thought, he can do that. I can do that. So I've done it every day in 2024, and now we're into 2025 towards the end, and I've done it every day
Yeah.
this year. So yeah, yep.
But you have that routine, and
Yep, that's all it is.
when you run and you get those endorphins going in your body, it's like that hit
Yep.
of not just adrenaline but life, man. After you get done with that first challenge of the day, you're just I take on anything, right?
Everything else just kind of falls into play. I wish people knew that, yep, just like business, when you work out, it's going to be hard at the beginning. It's going to
Oh
suck.
yeah.
It's going to be hard. Yep. Just like falling out of bed into the shower. It's going to be hard.
So
But
I think most of your listeners know you're from Minnesota.
yeah. Yep.
Now you ran every day of 2024, which means what was it? 0 below some of those mornings.
I cut
out of bed
5 to 0 degrees. After that, we do have a treadmill, but once it gets below 0, that's where I draw the line right there. There was one day I did do 20 below just to see what it was like, because it's like, again, it correlates with what you're saying. If you can go out and run, whether it's 20 below or 95 and humid in Florida, that's 60 degrees feels pretty darn good when you're doing it. So you do hard stuff to make the other stuff feel simple or easier. That's all it is. It's just a simple. I love that. Yeah. I mean, that's why we do it. Because go back to the things, the problems, if you will, that you're tackling. There's probably been, okay, take this for what you will. You lose your leg. It probably makes other things in your world not that big a deal. You know what I mean? Like there's a little perspective there when you really think about it. Or things you've handled in business that are big things, that you just create the muscle for the small things. I have to think that holds true with what you do as well, doesn't it?
It does. I'd agree. There's you've always had big obstacles. I mean, whether it's learning how to deal with the new software program, or learning how to get a new lawyer, or learning how to let someone go. I mean, they're hard things, man, but you're just going to become smarter and wiser and sharper and faster. I think you and I were talking, right? So buffaloes, right? When it rains, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Buffaloes, when it rains, man, they're smart enough that they run right through that thunderstorm so they get through it quicker, instead of just sitting down like a cow, And if we can just learn to hit that obstacle head on, we're going to get through it so much quicker and be so proud of ourselves at the end of the day, brother, right?
There's a book right there that you just kind of hit too. It's Crucial Conversations, where if you just hit that hard thing first or whatever it is, things really become easy after that. And it's, again, to me, that goes back to that's a muscle that's created, just like working out. You don't walk into the gym the first day and be able to lift what you can lift now, but you had to start somewhere.
Yeah. That's a great book. I wrote that down. I'm going to have to listen to that one next, brother.
It's not always easy. But when you just create the normalcy that it's just another conversation. And it goes back to what you talked about before. Communication kind of solves all things, really, is what it does,
Yeah, isn't that amazing? A lot of people in life are not. You're an amazing communicator, which I love it. I look up to it and I envy it, man. A lot of us don't communicate well. And as a leader, it's a skill that we always have to be perfecting. Right? I mean, simple things like you and I were talking about, delegating stuff we don't like to do.
Yep.
So if we don't give someone a clear plan and a path, good luck. They're going to do it, right? I mean, if they do it 80% of what you and I would do, right? And someone doing something for us and they do it 80%, it's a great job. But if we don't communicate what we want from them, and how do you keep learning to communicate?
One of the things you just said, okay, I'm going to touch on that because something you just said is what we do so many times as leaders is we ask somebody to do something.
Yeah.
Our expectations are the way we would do it. So we don't communicate the way we want it done or we envision it. So then when it comes back, we're frustrated and we think, well, I'll just do it myself next time. I'll do it better. Where when we consistently lay it out for somebody, whether it takes one time or 20 times, it's going to save you hours and hours on the back end is what it's going to do. So to answer your question about communication, I truly think it comes from reading books. I really do. I not, well, I would say reading books, patience, asking questions. Like both you and I have talked about, we've been through a divorce, right? Rocky marriage. Now I could sit here and say, she did this, she did that.
No, it takes two. Yeah.
Spot on. And what most people I feel like is we have to be self-aware that we're as much in this as somebody else is. So if there's something now that frustrates Jenny, my wife,
which is a rock star, we all love her.
I know that I'm part of that though too, right? Like I did something that did something. She's not just sitting in her office getting frustrated with Brent, right? And that happens at times where she gets frustrated. We all do. We all do. But you can either talk through it or you can argue about it. And I think that's the part of communication is patience, understanding. It's the old adage of, and Jenny taught me this, seek to understand. Because people...
those are wise words.
Yeah. People aren't trying to do something maliciously more often than not. Seek to understand where they are coming from and watch what happens. Now we can help guide and develop those people. That's all it is. Because I'm not always right. People have to seek to understand me because I know I can be bullheaded at times. But that's being self-aware too.
You know, we don't all have wise counsel like you with the wife like that, but you know, that's another hurdle, man. You know, like in business, we've got drivers that come to work, right? Everyone's got a different personality, and it's the driver of, I'm going to do it and it's going to be done my way. But seek to understand, how do you continue to talk in business or with your wife that you don't get like so upset with each other, you know? Like that's a skill you do great with. And I'd love to learn more about that.
We've learned over time. So there's different things you can, another book that was predominant in the company we were at before. It's called Navigate. And it's based off DISC, if you will. But it talks about different personalities. And I think you and I have talked about this, where Jenny, born and raised Philadelphia, moved to Florida, then New York. So she has that toughness to her. That over here, Minnesota nice, delicate flower, I just want you to be good to me, don't hurt my feelings type of thing. And that was hard for me at the beginning. But I had to understand that it was, well, on my side, I can control my side.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think we fail to see at times is we can only control us. I can't control what Travis does, what Jenny does, what John does, or Paul does, or Brian does. I can control this. And when I understand that, I can understand how I speak to somebody. I can understand how I take something in from somebody. And I can understand how to help them the way they want to be helped, not the way I want to help them. You see what I mean?
I do. I love how you did that. Help someone. I think it was help someone do what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, you've got gathers, right? I mean, you've got in a business, as a business owner or leader, you've got to be a gatherer where you're always selling yourself. What do you think the secret is to get someone in the right seat? Because that's a task, right? Like, what do you think it is to get someone in the right seat so that they're succeeding? Like you know my staff, and you know I've got great people, and gosh, I got people that I love and I don't even have to talk to you because they're doing a bang up job. And then there's one that's like, I'm going to beat my head into the wall. What are you doing? It's the seat that they're on the bus.
It's true. You just hit it right there. There is always going to be, I feel like, maybe not always, I should blanket statement that, but there's going to be those people that are just drivers. They just do. They don't need a lot of direction. They want to be helped from time to time or held accountable because they want it. Like you and I don't need somebody to tell me what to do. I'm going to do it, but I still need to talk to a coach or what have you to help move things forward or get ideas out. Then there's that movable middle. Those are the ones that want the accountability, want the help, want to talk through things. But we have to ask them what their goals are, what their vision is, what they want to create, what they want in their life, because what they want is different than what we want. And that's okay. That is, if they're willing to do the things to get to the point they want to get to, we have to figure out what that is. That comes through being a leader. It's exactly what you're saying. And then there's the number 3 that sometimes people aren't a good fit. It doesn't mean they're not a good fit somewhere else. It just doesn't mean they're not a good fit for what we do.
Yeah.
And I am all for, if I have a employee or a coach or whatever, even if they're like, I've had assistants that weren't very good, but that just means they're not a good fit for me. They might be a good fit for somebody else. So I will help them find something else. I will. I have no problem. You know what I mean? Like, that's just being a good human, I feel like, too. So
I love that. Really, not everyone's meant to be on the bus.
No.
And knowing when to get someone off it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Someone once told me, when you start thinking that you should let this person go, they cost you more money than they have the entire time they've been working with you because of your indecisiveness. That fire quick, right? Hire slow, fire quick, but they really blow so much money for you if you're indecisive. And that's a hard thing to do. I mean, that's a hard thing to do of split second decisions because let's be honest, as humans, not even just business owners, you can only make so many decisions in a day unless you've got wise counsel like Jenny, then you're over and above, but
I heard Bezos say it once, I think. He said 3 in a year or 3 in a month or 3 in a what have you, but it's 3 decisions that you have to make as a CEO. And that's why you get paid what you do. That's why you run the company, because you don't have to do all the things all the time. You have people around you to do that, but you make the big decisions. And kind of what you just said, we get emotionally attached to people. We just do.
Yeah.
Because we want them to be successful. We want to see something in them. I've never heard it, what you just said, though, that it costs us more in the long run by keeping them around, which does a disservice to us and to them at the same time, because they know, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. That's why I feel like helping them out so they don't goes back to your island by yourself at times. I don't want people to feel like that, I want to do what's right for them too. So, yeah.
You ever look at people come into your life for a specific reason?
Yeah.
In life, right?
And
what do they say? They come into your life for a specific reason, a season, or a lifetime. Mm-hmm. And that's our, as just human beings, as business owners too. You got to figure out if this person is here, because I've had many people here. I knew they weren't going to be forever employees. We're blessed to have some employees here that are second company, been with the family now for 35 years.
Wow.
Which they're here for a lifetime. But some people are just here for a season to learn something from you and move on. And you got to let them go, right? I mean, that's an interesting thing, is know when the season is done too.
But do you think that's part of, okay, take that. That's also part of your learning process, isn't it?
It is. But do you think that you can extend someone's season if you make their dreams big enough, right? So, our dreams, right? So, my dream to where I want to, we have multiple companies inside of this one, and I need profit in order to expand, right? So we talked about that book Profit First, where we're allocating separate funds for growth, because I tried to grow and I noticed I didn't have enough funds, and it just costs so much to grow, right? That if I can keep my dreams so big that all of my employees' dreams fit inside of that, I can extend the season that they're here. Could be a lifetime.
That's a good way to, I haven't heard it phrased that way either, that I try to expand mine so big that all these different puzzle pieces, if you will, or these entities within themselves fit in to what I'm trying to create. Because I also want to create it for them, because you're not just trying to create it for you. That's what I love about what you just said. It's not about you. You're doing this to help them fit into this, that's also going to help create the life that they want to live at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you know my heart. So we're starting that other window company. We actually take over Thursday. We got two of the team members jumping over there, and we didn't need to do it. We didn't need to have more headaches. We didn't need to drop $750,000 on this other endeavor, but we wanted to help better two other people's lives, man. Right? So by our dreams of being willing to risk that, we can now help other people better their lives for their both of those employees that they're single, so they've got one's got 3 kids, one's got 2 kids. I mean, they're going to be able to improve their children's lives drastically by helping us run that company for us. So, man, if we can just, it's amazing, right? Like, it's not me. It's what can I help these employees, team members get, and I get so much more in return, man, which is so awesome. But that's hard to wrap our head around. Of, on our one-on-ones, I'm in a season of just enjoying helping other people, like you and I talk about, to where, how do you think you get there, Brent? How do you think you get past that hurdle of, I started this business for me, I'm going to make so much money that, and let me help all of these 65 families put food on the table, man? That's the hard question of wrapping our head around. How do we get our head there, that where we help everyone to where we get the return in the end?
What you're doing, what you just said, though, is you just started another company to help somebody do that, which tells me exactly, you just answered your own question, is what you did. You've answered it a couple times by, I'm expanding the way I think to help expand the way they think, but help them fit into that expansion too at the same time. That's what you're doing. And you continue to add, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, whatever you want to call it, as a person who just loves to do what you do, you continue to add things and people just fit into that. I don't know how else to say it. You're giving people ample opportunity. The people that are entrepreneurs, if you will. So you look at your salespeople, you're the business owner, but they're each running their own businesses, as long as they understand that within the entity that you have created, is kind of what it comes down to. But you're providing that opportunity to do it too, which is pretty cool. Like, that's, yeah.
Man, I love that. Sometimes being an entrepreneur is way more beneficial. You don't have the stress. You make a lot of money. You don't have to worry about the lawyers.
Yep. Well, that's part of it. It takes a special person like Travis to deal with all of those things and still push forward. That's not normal. And that's where at times I think we wonder why, but you are creating something that you're creating for the next generation too at the same time. Like, that's a legacy. May not be why you're doing it in this moment or when it's hard or when you're like, but you are. And that's pretty special. If there's, well, it goes back to, we all need a reason. I asked you what drives you. And one of it was, I don't want to go back to this place. But there's also, I'm guessing, the thing that drives you forward too, or that pulls you. And that's the legacy you're leaving too at the same time. So I think we need, I'm one man's opinion. I feel like we need different things that drive us every day or pull us every day.
Yeah.
what it is. I really do. So,
Well, what you do in business, you help change people's legacies, man. It's
yeah,
such an amazing thing. I mean,
crazy.
as a business coach, as a group coach, shoot, our conversations, I love them because it just gets you thinking, and you have these great questions because you're such a great listener, man. You've got the feedback for me when I need it that just hits me on the head like, man, that's exactly what I needed to hear, man. How do you think people that are business leaders find a circle, find a tribe? How do you find the people that you run with, like a running mate?
You looked for it and you found it. That's as easy as I can. I mean, easy things like you talk about brand builders group. That's where we met because we
Yeah,
looked to grow up what we're doing and how do we really bring that to the next level. So we found each other. I have a leadership group here in Minnesota. I didn't even know it existed a year ago. I joined it last year at this time. If you would have asked me last July, I wouldn't have even know it existed. But I started asking people about any leadership groups or business organizations that they're a part of. And
yeah.
somebody told me about this Coalition 9 is all it is. Well, now I'm surrounded by 9 people once a month that we can just talk about this. You see what I mean? Like we look for it because we're consistently, you talk about reading books. You talk about not even reading books, just developing yourself. It's because you're constantly looking to get better or to find a path that somebody else out there, somebody else is smarter than us. Let's call it what it is. I
Every day.
mean, yeah, exactly. Every day I wake up. That's humbling.
We're not the Elon Musk of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just it. We're just yeah, we're looking to gain that from other people. That's all it is. And you create that. Again, we go back to neither one of us, like you said, hadn't read a book till you're 24. I was 36 when I started this, and I'm like, oh, I should start reading because that makes me better. And that's coming from people like you that you'll talk about books and you'll talk about development, but if you open your eyes to it, it's right in front of you. You just got to be willing to take it in, and that's what I've seen. I guess put it that way. So
What do you
yeah,
think the hurdle is for people that want to learn? Like, I'll fly. Like we both flew to Nashville for Brand Builders Group. I've flown to Arizona for another group that I love to learn from, and spent thousands and thousands of dollars, man. I can't spend enough, right? I know that time that I spend away from my family is really valuable,
yep.
but we're growing. What do you
I agree.
think it is where some people don't want to spend any money to invest in themselves? Why? Why do you think that is?
Unknown. When you do a tangible thing, that tangible thing will pay off. Usually, if I go to the cupboard and I want to make brownies, I can put it all. I can put the eggs and the flour and the chocolate and all the stuff into a bowl. I can stir it all up and put it in the oven, and it's tangible. I just
Yeah,
made it. If I put all this stuff in my head, is it going to amount to anything? So I'm taking a bet on myself to enhance myself to hope that it's going to pay off. That may not be true. That's just my opinion. That's what used to keep me back from doing it. What's the use? Because how am I going to apply it or what am I going to apply it to? So the other part of that is I don't know where to start, right?
yeah,
And where I would say start is investing in yourself doesn't mean you have to go spend thousands of dollars. You can go to the library and you can check out a book for free.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh
You can
yeah,
go on YouTube and learn how to play guitar if you want to, but you're investing in yourself, and that investment can be time. And then once you invest that, then we start investing money over time as well. I think that's where people don't know where to start. So we start and stop. And just like working out, we start and stop and start and stop because it gets hard, or we tell ourselves we don't have time, all that stuff. So yeah, it's got to be a thing it's got to be part of who you are. And that's what you have done, is you've made it a part of who you are. If I told you to stop reading books, you'd be like, what? That's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you're
it's
not
so
in my tribe anymore.
see? Like, nope, that's not who I want to be around at all. I want to be that. Yeah. That's funny. You just hit it right there. So I love it, man. Thank
Man,
you.
that's another wise thing, just who we hang out around. Like you've
Yeah.
got your L9, is it? Your L9 group?
9, yeah. Yep.
Coalition 9. I mean, you've found a tribe
Yeah.
of people that give back to you to make you better. To where there's a lot of noise out there in the world that we can spend listening to and just think the business is going to crash. I can't do this right. I can't do that right. Man, getting around the right people or the right influencers. I mean, there's so much on social media that's great out there. I mean, let's be realistic. We are the most powerful
I agree.
this country's ever been with having technology at our fingertips. Shoot, I've got a computer in my pocket 24/7.
So, okay, take social media.
Yeah, go
If
ahead.
you're on Instagram and you're looking for motivational, and you're looking for, like for me, you're looking for running and driving and running a business, what is consistently going to come up on your feed?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, what comes up on your feed
Yep.
is really who you are. I mean,
What you're looking for. Yep.
I've got dirt bike racing, rock climbing, and just a lot of people like Andy Elliott, Dan Martell, Ty Lopez, Sanchez. I forget her first name, but I mean, it's just people that are doing work stuff I want to be doing, right?
You're constantly putting it into your mind. It's constant. So you can either take social media and put that into your mind as, that doesn't work for me. I don't know how. I'm salaried. I'm going to do this stuff that isn't what you want to get to. Or you can start looking for the good, like you do, the books, the people, the motivation, the experience, the Andy Frisellas of the world, the whoever it is, the people that just continue to help you get better. So you continue to look for it because it's always in front of you. It's funny how simple it is, isn't it? It's really that simple, which is crazy. It really is. Love it. Huh?
It is, especially with computers, because I mean, they're addictions to our kids.
For sure. We got to teach them too. If you put in weird stuff, you're going to get weird stuff. But if you put in things that enhance you and help you get better, yeah, you're going to continuously get better. I love it. So I got to ask, if I need your help, how do people find you?
And they can call me anytime. My phone number, 941-232-0942, or Travis at JansenShutters.com. Instagram at Choose Your Hard Podcast. A lot of different ways. Love to help someone mentor, come alongside them, and anything I can do to help someone grow and learn and become faster, better, and sharper. Love to give them a hand.
Love it. And what is the business aspect that you help people with?
So, business wise, we are blessed to be on the west coast of Florida. We do hurricane storm protection, almost like a one stop shop. So, whether it's impact windows, swing doors, garage doors, exterior hurricane storm protection, all different brands, or all different lines. We're a full manufacturer. And then outdoor living products. If people want to have like an impact glass room on the back porch, we do that. We do acrylic rooms, we do sun rooms. So it's a lot of different stuff, man. Then we got a full fabrication shop down here on the West Coast. We do a lot of aluminum ornamental stuff. Our niche is the high end one percenters. So we will build extravagant estate gates or handrail systems for codes and stuff like that. So yeah, and then if people I was in I think of northern Kentucky.
Okay,
Farmers
so you're expanding.
rolled out screens. over his outdoor patio. So we flew to Kentucky, did some roll down screens just to keep the bugs out. Those bugs in Kentucky, they'll fly you away. They're so big.
I love that you're talking about like the foundational part of it.
Yeah.
But where my mind goes as you're saying it is you're really helping people take care of the people that are most important to them so that they are safe.
Yeah, honestly, our team here feels like we're a bunch of badass superheroes.
Yeah, I love that. That's cool.
I mean, we do. During stressful times, we put the E in team, man. Just make it easy, you know?
I love it.
Make it easy. Call Jansen Shutters and Specialties.
Thank you, my man, so much for being on here. This is a darn good conversation, so I appreciate it. I really do.
You're welcome, buddy. Thanks for having me. This was the best meeting and conversation I had all week, brother. So thank you.
I love it. Well, it's only Monday, isn't it? Right?
Best meeting I had all week.
I love it. Thanks, my man. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us on the Your Limitless Leadership podcast with Jenny and Brent Widman. We hope today's conversation inspired you to think differently about leadership, not just in your career, but in every part of your life. Remember, leadership starts with leading yourself first. It's about taking action, making bold decisions, and showing up with purpose. Now, it's time to take what you've heard today and put it into practice. Whether it's in your business, your community, your family, or your own personal growth, start leading without limits. You have the power to become the leader you're meant to be. Until next time, keep pushing your boundaries and leading with purpose.